chapter 12 of The Magic Lantern, and this is the last chapter before the book is launched on the 2nd of November. So if you haven't seen the other ones, go back to the YouTube page and start from chapter 1 to find out how the story goes. And if you want to find out more about the story at the end of this chapter, you have to buy the book, which will be out on the 2nd of November 2024. Yes, in just a few weeks' time. Right, where are we? Chapter 12. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was visiting his sister Connie for Christmas in Edinburgh. It had been his wife Jean's idea. He had been so engrossed that year in writing his latest book, Round the Fire Stories, a new collection of diabolical and thrilling tales, that Jean felt he had neglected his family. Now that collection was published, she wanted them to spend some time together. Christmas is, after all, a time for family, my dearest, Jean had said in that sweet and charming manner which always warmed his heart, making him agree to anything she wanted. They had arrived in Edinburgh only 2 days ago, and already he was bored. But that was about to change when, while sorting through a collection of unopened Christmas cards, he discovered a mysterious, anonymous note which read, "Come to the Panopticon in Glasgow and seek out a gang of boys in the basement zoo. Their game's afoot." What did it mean? What could a gang of boys in Glasgow possibly possess that would be of interest to him? How did they know he was in Edinburgh? These were all intriguing thoughts, but what fascinated him most was the handwriting, the slope of the letters, the shape and flow of them. It seemed impossible, was impossible, but the note was written in a hand identical to his own. Arthur could never resist a mystery, especially when he was bored. He simply had to discover the meaning of this puzzling letter. He pleaded with his wife Jean and his sister to let him go. He showed them the letter, and they agreed that it indeed was very much like his handwriting. Whoever wrote this has obviously studied you closely, or at least your handwriting. Honestly, Arthur, I'm not sure it's the wisest idea to go racing off to Glasgow to meet a gang of total strangers. His sister agreed. You could be racing to your doom when you should be racing to tell the police. Oh, for goodness sakes, you two. You're like a pair of old ladies jumping at shadows. It's probably just a bit of harmless fun. I have no doubt I'll be back tomorrow, and I will be sure to notify the police the instant I think anything is amiss, Arthur assured them. In the end, they knew they couldn't refuse him, in part because he would do what he wanted anyway. As he always did. They did, however, insist that he have a lunch before he went. He couldn't go running off on an empty stomach after all. With lunch delaying his departure, it was past 3 o'clock in the afternoon by the time he arrived at Waverley Station. He paced the station forecourt, bought a newspaper from the newsstand, which he folded and placed under his arm. It would give him something to read on the journey. Finally, he boarded the 3:30 service to Glasgow and spent the journey reading every article and advert the afternoon edition of the Scotsman newspaper had to offer. It was full of the usual claptrap, nothing really of interest at all, except for one small snippet which filled one column of the huge broadsheet. It was a report about the ongoing investigation of a brutal murder of an old lady in Glasgow and a subsequent search for her missing diamond brooch. Pawnbrokers and jewellers were asked to be on their guard and contact the Glasgow police immediately. It seemed obvious to him that the motive for the murder was the valuable item of jewellery. He wondered if the note had been connected to the murder, but then the letter was dated and postmarked the afternoon of the 21st of December, and the murder had not occurred until that evening. An hour or so later he arrived in Glasgow and began heading to the Panopticon. As he marched along Argyle Street, he suddenly felt a creeping sense of apprehension. Were his wife and sister right to be concerned? Was he indeed marching towards his doom? Was his love of intrigue about to bring his end? He shook his head as if to shake off the anxiety, straightened his back, lengthened his stride, and continued to his destination. He bought a twopence ticket from the lady in the ticket booth and followed the signs that directed him to Noah's Ark Zoo. Here, he would either find a gang of boys or confirmation that his wife and sister's fears were justified. Either way, he would find some kind of answer as to the origin of the intriguing note. And that is that. Ha! You'll have to come and buy the book. You can order it online. In fact, it'll be available for pre-sale pretty soon. Look at the link below this video to find out more. I hope you enjoyed my videos so far, and I hope you will enjoy the book. Thank you, and see you soon.